over this weekend, a debate about gun carrying lit up social media after a shooting in Indianapolis left 3 dead, but was stopped by an armed witness who gunned down the mass shooter. And that man was called a good Samaritan by the authorities who arrived on the scene. So, Robby, where are you on, vigilante justice, especially in moments like this where, we're confronted with the epic failures sometimes of law enforcement?
Right, we're frequently confronted by it. This is something I hear a lot of sort of progressives who want very strict gun control. And they say, oh, well, if armed citizens are so important, why does an armed citizen never stop a crime? Like, actually, there's countless examples of that happening, routine examples. You can find so many examples. This is another one. The police said, this is a great example. The police said more lives could have been lost if this person who was carrying legally, was doing everything right, saw that there was an active shooter situation, intervened and neutralized the shooter, so responded to the crisis correctly, took out the right person. We always hear that, oh, there's going to be confusion. What if they shoot the wrong person? What if, that kind of thing. No, there are examples of armed citizens taking the right action, and this was one of those situations. Obviously, you can think that's not the way it's supposed to be. The law enforcement is supposed to handle this, but yeah, at a time when law enforcement, I think, is really failing, and a time where law enforcement is maybe needed. I think you and I are both very concerned. You're in New York, I'm in D.C. I'm very concerned about the rising crime we're facing in many American cities, not all American cities, but many of them. And I think a lot of people have the attitude, what can be done? Should it be more police? But then that argument is harder to make when in moments of crisis you see police acting so irresponsibly as they did in Uvalde.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've also seen reports that, criminals will frequently say that, the presence of a gun on scene will stop them, or if they know if the person there has a gun, they would not have, engaged in criminal behavior in that context, et cetera. I mean, I've never actually heard a criminal say that, but I've read reports that is something that they do say. And so, I think, it comes down to, like, are you going to put your trust in the state to protect you, or do you want that level of autonomy to do your best to protect yourself in certain contexts, to protect your own family, to protect your church? There was a case of somebody carrying in a church who put down a mass shooter. I think that was like 6 months ago, something like that. You do see these stories coming up, and it's very hard not to feel like, of course, the right term for that is Good Samaritan, because that person saved lives.